and welcome back to Your Health DeKoded. Today we're turning our attention to our body's largest organ and our crowning glory. Yes, I'm talking about skin and hair health. Whether you're battling breakouts, wondering about wrinkles, or trying to understand why your hair just won't cooperate, today's episode is all about unlocking those secrets. We'll explore the connection between what you eat and how it affects your skin and your hair health. I'm Manika Raikwar, and joining me today is leading dermatologist Dr. Priyanka Reddy. Dr. Reddy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
When we decided we were going to have you on the show and have this episode, I cannot tell you, so many questions. And top of the list was that how does a person understand what their skincare routine should be? What is their skin all about? What type of skin do they have? And what should they use?
Well, a great question to start our conversation with. So because everything depends on your skin type, right? The kind of products you use, and even sometimes the nutrition you consume should also be depending on your skin type and how your body is built. So the simplest way, instead of complicating the whole process, the simplest way to know your own skin type is to start off on a clean slate, right? So you wash your face and do not apply any product. Leave it on like bare skin for 1 to 2 hours. So by the end of 2 hours, if you feel that your skin is very dry, it feels stretched, it feels a little irritated, and you feel like grabbing onto moisturizer and applying, that means you have a dry skin. But at the end of this 1.5 to 2 hours, if you feel that your skin is shining, it has a little bit of oil, then it means it has oily skin. It is oily skin. And then you have a combination skin type wherein you have oily T-zone, like some parts of your face tend to be oily while some parts of your face are dry. So this is a combination skin type. But by the end of 2 hours, you don't feel anything. You don't feel the necessity to apply any product. You don't feel irritated. You don't feel oily, which means you have a normal skin type. And then there's another, it's not a skin type, but it could be a period where you're going through a sensitive skin, which means after the end of this 1.5 hours, you feel that your skin is very red, it's very sensitive. There is a little bit of like flaking that you can see in some parts of your face. So this is what we categorize as sensitive skin. So sensitive skin is not a skin type per se. It could be a period in which your skin is sensitive. So broadly, we have normal skin, combination, oily or dry skin.
So that's very interesting. So are there particular times in our lives, whether it's men or women, that we have the sensitive skin? Is it related to certain other sort of conditions?
It's a great question, actually, because there are two parts to this question. Okay, so first thing is, a skin type is not constant throughout your life. Your skin type also keeps changing with age. For most. For example, when especially women or even men, like for that matter, when you hit puberty is when your hormones start kicking in. You tend to see for men, you tend to see the beard and mustache growing. For females, of course, you start the menarche hits, and then you also see that you have acne, you have dandruff issues coming up. All this is because of your hormones kicking in. So then most of them have oily skin during this particular phase. But as you keep growing older, your oil production or the sebum production tends to come down and your skin tends to become more towards the dry side. So nobody has the same skin type throughout their life. It is something that is constantly changing. And so your skincare should also be constantly changing with how your skin feels during that particular season, during that particular menstrual phase, especially in women, and also where you're traveling, sometimes depending on what kind of nutrition you're consuming. So your skin type also varies with all of these factors. And coming back to your question, do sensitive skin? Yes, people will go through sensitive skin phases depending on a lot of things. Suppose now the problem is over-enthusiastic self-medication or trials of products, right? So people can end up ruining their skin barrier, leading up to sensitive skin. Or sometimes during menstruation phase also, some females will have a little bit of sensitive skin issues for 2 to 3 days. And you're going through some sort of urticarial reaction and you have a sensitive skin. Post lasers, you have sensitive skin. So depending on what you've done internally and externally, your skin can be going through a sensitive period.
Right. So it's very interesting because you've told us about skin types and how they can change. Another sort of question that we got that everyone was really interested, it was that what's the real difference between expensive skincare products and sort of your other normal ones that you see, whether you get them from a chemist, or what is the real difference?
feel good factor, a little bit of sensorial, but honestly, let me tell you, price tag is not directly proportional to how effective the product is, right? It does not indicate the effectiveness of the product per se. The price tags are mostly, when you're spending a bit more on expensive products, they can be effective, they might not be effective, but it is all about packaging, branding, the brand positioning, and sometimes the fragrances that is being added and that extra luxurious feeling. But effectiveness of the product solely depends on the formulation. For example, there is a 230 rupees, like pharmacy skincare product that is like, it helps in treating your fine lines, wrinkles, acne, whatnot. It is the most powerful ingredient that we have, and you get it in 230 rupees small tube. Very potent prescription strength, only to be used under the guidance for dermatologist. Similarly, they have a milder version of this is sold for 14,000 retinol product. It's not as it's not as effective as this. So what I'm trying to say is, price tags definitely do not indicate how effective the product is. It is all and all about formulation. And even some brands tend to have some star products which are like amazing when it comes to the results. And the same brand can also have some products that are not at all effective. So it's not always about brand or the price. It is about that particular formulation and how effectively and safely have they formulated it.
It was so interesting that you spoke about all these formulations, and nowadays this whole experimenting with products, I see, girls who are 28, 30, and they've started using anti-aging creams. So do anti-aging creams actually work? Asking for a friend.
So I think you're still stuck in 2015, 2016, because now 28, 27 people are not using anti-aging. People as young as 18, 19 are getting anti-aging procedures done, and they're also starting themselves on preventive wellness products, which is not bad.
Dangerous? Oh, it's not. It's not bad.
It's not okay. Bad as long as you're in the right hands. That's what I'm trying to say. When you should not be experimenting with few products, while you can take the liberty with a few products, right? Now, it all depends on, I always tell, see, at some level, all of us want to experiment and try the products that we see and hear about, which are like sort of trending and viral. But first, I would say, get your basics straight. Once, or at least in the beginning, when you're still not familiar with all the ingredients and the products, take dermatologist consultation, get familiarized with what ingredient is for what or what product is for what. And then there are some products that you can experiment, like you can try out sunscreens, some moisturizers, or some products can be tried, like your shampoos, conditioners, all that is fine. But do not play around with certain potent ingredients. Like, for example, your anti-aging ingredients most definitely have retinol, like potent retinoids, which are strictly prescription strength. And then as simple as a niacinamide, which people use it, now like any random. So niacinamide is taken to be very non-serious ingredient, but actually niacinamide can trigger reactions in some people. So like that, do not experiment with actives. You can experiment with few products after you've gained some knowledge on skincare. Because like I said, it's not practical for everybody to consult a dermat every single time they want to see a product, which they should, but it's not possible. So experiment with a few products, but do not play around with certain ingredients. Triple combination ointments, I think I've been very vocal that the reason why I started my social media journey, the first video that I put out is to create awareness on why these fairness tubes you should not be buying from your pharmacy bhaiya, because they have 3 potent ingredients in a deadly combination that can ruin your skin permanently. So there are some products that you should not be experimenting with. Now, coming back to your question, ma'am, if are they safe or not, like I said, if your skin is matured enough to give that symptoms to you. For example, if you're a 14-year-old or 15-year-old girl or a boy having active acne, very severe active acne, your skin is old enough to throw that much acne at you. Your skin is old enough to take the treatment for that acne also. Most commonly, parents say, oh, she's 14-year-old, but you're recommending chemical peel. The solution, it's not about the age, it's about the concern that we are trying to treat. Of course, we are going to be mindful about the percentage of ingredients we are going to be putting on a 14-year-old and for how long we are going to be putting and how to bring those symptoms. Because the problem with acne, for example, is not the acne in itself. It's the aftermath, like the pigmentation and the scars that this acne is going to leave, which is going to have a long-term impact on these young kids. right? So we need to make sure that we are not treating them now, but I'm also taking care of their physical and mental well-being in the long run, because I know how this acne is going to pan over a period of few years. I need to make sure that these guys are taken care of now, so that they do not suffer later. So we need to do what needs to be done. So if an 18-year-old is coming with signs of aging, premature signs of aging, we need to address it accordingly. So it is, of course, about the age, but it is also about active signs that they're showing. We need to treat accordingly also. So yes, anti-aging or well-aging treatments are starting much younger as compared to before. But yeah, I think everything else is also creeping on very early in people. There were times when I remember, I don't remember touching makeup till like 23, 24. I don't remember, honestly. But now the generation is very different. The times are very different. So we need to understand the current generational demands and try to protect them and guide them accordingly.
But do anti-aging creams work?
That's the question. Of course they work. Of course they work. But there are a lot of scams and marketing gimmicks that have also come into place. For example, collagen creams, glutathione creams, they don't work as of now, at least, because the molecular size of this product, the ingredient is large, that they don't penetrate the skin well enough to give that kind of well-aging or anti-aging benefits. But do retinoids work? Do retinol work? Peptides work? Of course, they work well. They can penetrate, they can stimulate collagen production, they can speeden up the skin renewal process, and they most definitely work. So it is about the ingredient. It is not about generalizing saying anti-aging cream. It is this anti-aging cream that works. It is this molecule in this percentage for this duration which works. 100% they work, but you need to know what product you are applying. That's about it. So I will tell you the biggest scams, like I said, are your collagen creams. As of now, there is no scientific data or a product that has done wonders in terms of penetration. So-called glutathione creams will not work. I think these two are the most biggest scams, but anything else, again, retinols also are being, they're not formulated well now by a lot of brands, so they're not working. Bakuchiol, again, some formulations work, some formulations don't work. This called natural retinol, natural retinoid. Nothing of that sort works. So it is the science and math has to come together. Right. The science of the product and math in terms of what percentage of this product will work. It definitely works. But again, ma'am, remember that products only have certain level of penetration, right? They cannot do what lasers or like anti-aging procedures like HIFUs, collagen stimulating lasers do. These products can't do. Right. They only can do to a certain level, to a certain extent. But if you're looking at deeper level of cellular rejuvenations or lifts, then you need to rely on clinical treatments.
Right. Yeah. But tell me, in all of this, one of the things that really in the past 10 years has become really big is sunscreen. I remember growing up, there was no concept of sunscreen. It was like go out and play. Yes. And now it's like, put it even at night, right?
Who is saying that?
Yeah, no. So that's exactly what, I remember talking to someone and they said, I put it at night also before I go to sleep. And I was like, okay. But so tell us about sunscreens. What is this mystery about sunscreens?
Oh, there's no mystery. It's just been misconstrued. So the sunscreen at night, first, let me tell you where the scenarios where you have to apply sunscreen at night, if at all, is that if you have a lot of blue light exposure. People who are working night shifts, there are sunscreens formulated that have blue light protection. So if you are somebody having a lot of blue light protection and the signs of aging and pigmentation, you most definitely should use a sunscreen that has blue light filters. That's the fact. But now about sunscreens is that sunscreens are one of the most important pillars in your skincare routine. Everything falls flat if you do not have a good sunscreen and a good moisturizer in place. Everything else is useless unless these two pillars are strong enough. Then the third one comes your face wash, of course, but sometimes, some dry skin individuals can get away even without face wash, but without a moisturizer, without a sunscreen, it all fails. Now you have to use your common sense, as in when should I use, what should I use, right? So sunscreen is definitely important for immediate and long-term benefits. Now, what do I mean by that? Immediate is it is for you to get your sun protection now, right? And for you to, in the long run, for you to age well, for you to reduce your pigmentation, right? And to overall have a good skin in the long run, it works. There are numerous studies and research that have split face studies, face and neck studies where ladies have, or like truck drivers as example, they've not applied sunscreen. The face that has been exposed to sun has aged. It has wrinkles, pigmentation, and also like sunspots, we say, and DPNs, all of that more on one side as compared to the other side. Now, there are people who have applied sunscreen only to the face and their neck has aged very bad. So there is proven research. Now, in India, what happens is that, so to answer your questions, we never used sunscreen growing up. Why do we do it? We never used a lot of products while we were growing up. We are using now. It is exposure. It is how we want to look now as compared to before. We used to wear two chotis, a lot of oil and go to school and we didn't mind. But kids these days, my God, they're embarrassed to put on oil and go out. I have 9-year-olds coming and complaining of their moles, saying, Doc, you do whatever, get rid of the mole. 9-year-old. Last week, I had an 11-year-old who's depressed because of her acne. This is the kind of awareness that people have. Unfortunately, this is the kind of circumstances kids are being in. So one, there's a lot of awareness in a good way and a bad way also. Two, we all want to look a certain way, right? Now, when we look at our own grandmoms or aunts from that generation, they look their age or even older. Now, can you look at anyone and tell what their actual age is? No, because they're maintaining themselves through diet, through exercise, through procedures, through products. At every level, you have to maintain. It's not just one over the other, right? So increasing awareness, increasing accessibility. First of all, more number of products that are there. We never had this kind of products that we have now and then. More number of research, more good products, accessibility to these products. Everything is increasing, ma'am. So we can't run away from the fact that we are in a different time now as compared to before. You see, awareness has increased post-COVID even more about how they want, not awareness, the people are conscious of how they want to look. Now people come to me, before COVID, it was different. Now people come say, I'm not confident to face camera. I'm not able to face Zoom calls. It was never there before. So they're very conscious of presenting themselves on screen. So it is a lot that has changed. So it is up to you whether you want to keep up with this or not. It is a choice, because as Indians, we are not scared of cancers, right? Like Caucasian skins, sunscreen is more important for them because they are lying on beach. They want to get tan. Most of their body is constantly getting exposed to sun. We have to wear dupattas and scarves and everywhere and run to shade. We don't want to get exposed to sun, firstly. Second, we have good amount of melanin that is naturally protecting us from the dangers of cancer. So no, we don't have that kind of mutations. So we are not using sunscreen for the dangers of cancer. We are using it more for vanity. We don't want to get tanned. We want to age well. We don't want to have fine lines and wrinkles from the sun. So it is not just sunscreen. Sunscreen is only a part of your sun protection. Focus on comprehensive sun protection. You apply your sunscreen. If you're going long day out to the beach, put on your hat, put on your sunglasses. And if you're driving two-wheeler regularly, cover yourself up with a clean cotton cloth. This is comprehensive sun protection. That is important.
No, so before I move on to hair, which is the other big thing, a lot of questions came about, under eyes, saying that everything may work, but please ask Dr. Reddy, do under eyes cream work? Because, there were people saying that we've tried everything and nothing works on under eyes. So that's...
Yeah. So no, before that, I will just one more thing about sunscreens is very important that we touch upon is that now sunscreens cause cancer. Sunscreens are dangerous. They're endocrine disruptors. All this is going on, right? So every day there is a lot of research going on at every level, not just sunscreens, not just in cosmetic field. In every level, there is research and we learn new things with each day. Similarly, with sunscreens, what you've realized is there are certain ingredients that are not as safe as we thought they were. But also in certain proportions, like they've done the studies on, like animal studies, and so much of product has to go for you to create that kind of endocrine disruption. Firstly, none of us put that kind of amount of sunscreen on a regular basis. So there's nothing so much to worry. But to be on safer side, now that there is awareness on some products not being so safe, better avoid certain ingredients in your sunscreen. Try to stick on to mineral sunscreens as much as possible, especially pregnant women and kids. Only use mineral sunscreens. For the rest of the people also, try to stick on to mineral sunscreens or use hybrid sunscreens which have new age chemical filters. Simple. New age chemical filters are formulated to be safe. They do not cause any endocrine disruption. And also the quantity, the percentage we use is not so high to cause this kind of disruption.
Right. Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm
so that is
going to
about your sunscreens.
screen. Yeah. So now under eye creams.
Yeah.
What
So
do
under eye
people
cream
use?
again, yeah, under eye cream is also like, I will tell you, okay, it is, you don't have to have an under eye cream. Okay. It is just most of the times it is glorified or enriched moisturizer. That's it. So if you have dry skin or if you just want to maintain your under eyes, you use the same moisturizer that you're using for the rest of your face, even on your under eye area. And if you have very dry skin, you can use a little bit thicker coat. That's it.
Okay.
But now the problem with under eye, what happens is if you use a very thick moisturizer, it can block the pores on the lower eyelid and can lead to some cyst formation. So you should be a little careful of those things. But other than that, if you have dark circles, okay, then you can use certain products that are meant for dark circles, which will have certain ingredients which have depigmenting properties. You can use that, or you can also use the same depigmenting serum that you use on your face under your eye.
Right.
Most of the times it's okay, except for the products that you're not supposed to be using for the under eyes that you use on your face are high strength prescription medications. Like example, when we give retinoids, it's a very high strength product. You're not supposed to be using it around your eyes, on your lips, in the corners of your nose or the nasolabial folds. You're not supposed to be using it. So there are some products that you must not use it under the eyes. But otherwise, if you don't have any active concern, please use the same moisturizer that you use for the rest of your face under the eye. Don't have to be. And also under eye creams or any niche creams that we say, like that are designed for a specific area, are more expensive. Your under eye creams are expensive. Your lip balms are expensive.
Expensive, yes,
So
everything, all of that.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to quickly sort of move on to hair. Now, quick answers. Can I wash my hair every day? Is that okay?
Absolutely. If there is a need for it, please wash. If you're working out every day, sweating a lot, you're getting exposed to dust, pollutants on a regular basis, like if you're a field worker, please do wash your scalp every day. Otherwise, once in 2 days, once in 3 days. It depends on your scalp type. If you have oily, greasy scalp, wash it. If not, don't. But at least once in 3 days, though, I would say do it for scalp buildup. Yeah.
What shampoos should everyone avoid? I don't want names, but certain formulations, like you said.
See, now we are all looking at sulfate-free, paraben-free shampoos. I think look for shampoos that are free of sulfates and parabens. But otherwise, these are again not the villains that are being portrayed to be. They are there for a reason. They are there for lathering purposes. They are there for preventing the bacterial contamination. So they are there for a reason. So there is nothing like one shampoo that people must. It completely depends, ma'am, on the scalp type. If you have very dry scalp, then you should be avoiding certain ingredients that will dry your scalp out further. If you have oily scalp, then you must include a few things that will take care of the oils. So it's honestly just that. But if you like want to like broadly say, then look for sulfate-free, paraben-free shampoos. But it's not must.
Okay, what's the difference between hair thinning and how do I know I'm not balding? What's that difference?
Okay, so there are three things you have to look at when we talk about hair, right? So there is hair thinning, that is the baldness, male pattern baldness, female pattern baldness, or androgenetic alopecia. Number two is hair fall, wherein you actually see hair shedding on your pillows, on the floor, and you go crazy, and people collect the hair in plastic covers and come to us. And then you have hair diseases, wherein there are medically driven conditions, like you have patches of alopecia areata. There is something called trichotillomania where people pull their hair out when they're stressed. So hair disease is very, like we're not even going to be talking about it because of various reasons. Now, most common things people suffer with are hair fall or hair thinning. These are very two different concerns. Now, hair thinning is genetics and hormones. There's nothing much you can do or something that you've done that has led to the balding. It is because like how you're getting your property from your ancestors, you're also getting some things from your ancestors, and balding is one of it. Okay, so it is mostly genetic and familial. Of course, things you do like lot of stress, poor sleep, poor diet, lot of smoking, all these things will add on to the problem. They can just add on, but they will not be the causative factors. And then you have this, which is telogen effluvium, wherein you have hair fall. This is because this is temporary. This could be because you're recovering from some illness, post-delivery, nutritional deficiency, stress, poor diet. All these factors are the causative factors. Once you fix the root cause, this is fixed.
Right.
But here, even there is no root cause to be fixed here. You have this treatment for hair thinning is a long-term treatment, but for hair fall, it is a short-term treatment.
Are there any vitamins that you would recommend for skin and hair health?
So it's like saying, is there one ingredient that you recommend for making a particular dish, right? It is when all the ingredients that is required for the dish come together beautifully, you get a delicious dish. So when there is no one ingredient that is magical, like for example, how biotin has been made the hero for hair, it is never that. If you have biotin deficiency, biotin supplements, again, supplements, not gummies, supplements will work, no gummies. But if you're looking at skin and hair health, every single essential vitamin, minerals, fats, everything is important. Okay, so you have to have a healthy, balanced diet. There is no one vitamin that I would say, but you have to have healthy fats in your diet. You have to include certain, nuts and seeds like your walnuts, flax seeds. You have to have healthy fats in good proportion. So eat your eggs, whole eggs. Like don't throw those all yolks. If at all you're having 5 to 6 egg whites, at least have 2 yolks or 1 yolk. You don't have to overdo yolks, but have that whole egg. And then nuts, green leafy vegetables, spinach, very, very important for your overall health for skin and hair. See, ma'am, your skin and hair are the external expressors of your internal health. Anything that is going wrong inside is first seen on your hair and then on your skin. So if you neglect those, if you have very dry hair, it could be a sign of iron deficiency. If you have hair loss, it could be a sign of iron deficiency, vitamin D deficiency. So people just think, oh, my hair is becoming dry, it has split ends, I just have to go to a salon and cut. No, look internal. There is most deficiency, some deficiency you're dealing with. You are having hair fall, suddenly you're going through some internal stress, your nutrition. So always look for internal causes. There is no one vitamin. It is when the whole food comes together, you're going to have a good healthy skin and hair, because you need to have healthy body to support your skin and hair. And it's not one vitamin there. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been so interesting. I have to tell you, the entire crew here has been extremely engrossed listening to it. I think this is the one show they're all listening very carefully. So thank you so much for making the time today. That's it for today. Be back next week for Your Health Decoded.